In this video I'm going to talk about why your koi is shy when you're close to the pond, when you're around, what you can do to address that, and how you can have them literally eating out of your hand. I'm Darren and you're watching Dazzle Koi. If you're interested in the koi related videos like this one, do remember to subscribe to the channel, do hit the bell icon so you don't miss any future updates. So, are you greeted like this by your koi every time you approach the pond? These guys sometimes literally come right out of the water when you walk up near the pond. If yours aren't behaving in the same way, then I'm going to talk about kind of why that is and what we can do to address it. So firstly, koi are hardwired to be wary of humans, to fear humans, simply because we're predators, they're the prey. It is hardwired, it's built into them, it's instinctive. You can't change that. You can't train or tame them, they can't do tricks, they can't learn, they're not performing seals. You can't change that, it's hardwired, unfortunately. So if you can't override those instincts, that inbuilt fear of humans, then what can you do? What can you do instead? And the answer is you can introduce another instinct that is stronger than the fear, the urge to get away. Something that will kind of replace it, kind of override it, if you like. Something that's more powerful that they need to do, that becomes more important than taking themselves off and hiding. And that thing is appetite. So just make a distinction between hunger and appetite. Firstly, you can't just starve them and expect in 2 months' time that they'll come and eat out your hand. Hunger and appetite are very different. If you think about in yourselves, you could eat a meal, an hour later you'd happily eat a bar of chocolate, but you're not hungry, you don't have hunger pangs. And it's the same with these. I can feed these and in 5 minutes they'll feed out my hand again. They're not hungry, but they eat, and that's appetite, and that's the distinction that we're making. So how do we make our koi's appetites so voracious that that getting to the food becomes more important than running away and hiding from a predator? And the answer is to take away all the things that impact appetite negatively. Appetite is linked to general health and well-being, again similar to human beings. If you're happy and healthy physically and mentally, if you're in good health, good condition, good spirits, then generally your appetite is better. If you have a cold, if you're a bit run down, you're sort of less inclined to eat. And it's the same with koi. How do you keep that health and that well-being at the pinnacle? Firstly, water quality. So filtration is hugely important. Mechanical filtration, I've got videos on this, I've talked about it a lot, but just very briefly, waste, number ones, number twos. If you've got 6, 8, 10 koi in your pond, they're doing number ones, number twos in there very, very regularly. They are swimming in that, breathing in it, eating in it. The sooner you can get that out of there, the better. Don't wish to be crude, but if you go and take a number 2 in your dining room, when it comes to tea time tonight, your appetite will not be the same. I can assure you of that. Same for your fish. I flush my filters on this pond every day. Pod and a tempest takes about 5 minutes, flushed every evening at the same time. I wish I could do it more. I really do. My fish would benefit no end, but I can't realistically. Life does get in the way, so I cycle for once a day. If you can increase the number of times you do it, absolutely go for it. Again, appetite will be boosted. The second thing is biological filtration. So again, a level of ammonia, a level of nitrate in your pond, that will suppress your koi's appetite. Anything that takes their environment away from perfect will have an impact on their appetite. Obviously, you need to make sure you have enough bio capacity, enough media to support a colony big enough to process the ammonia and nitrate that your koi produce. Cleaning your filters out mechanically will also improve the efficiency of that biological process. organic waste in the biological media will impact their efficiency and their performance. So getting the solid waste out as often as possible will make your biological processing capacity better. And the third form of filtration is dilution. So you've got mechanical, biological, dilution. I've got videos on filtration. Do check them out if you're not familiar with, or if you want more detail. But dilution, often overlooked and equally as important as mechanical and biological, if not more so. Koi produce pheromones, which are actually designed to suppress appetite, because when they're in an environment like this, nature has them controlling the size of the fish. So you need to dilute pheromones. Nitrate is another big one. Nitrate levels, if you don't have a shower or something similar to take out nitrates, a level of nitrate will suppress your koi's appetite. That's proven fact. So the higher the nitrate level, the bigger the impact on appetite. Urine, odours, lots and lots of things in liquid form in the pond that are suppressing appetite that aren't taken out by a mechanical filter or a biological filter. So do look at your dilution, water changes, or even better, a constant trickle in of fresh water to dilute constantly. Next thing, oxygen. Again, often overlooked. Get yourself an oxygen test kit. Again, lots of videos on that on the channel. Get yourself a test kit, test your oxygen. 8, 9, 10 milligrams per litre plus you want to be aiming at. Your koi themselves need oxygen. Your biological filter needs oxygen. All the processes in the pond system require oxygen. The more the merrier. It really is. Again, low levels of oxygen mean systems need to sort of ration the oxygen levels, if you like. So efficiency is reduced in certain areas, immune system, appetite, usually the first to suffer. So look at the oxygen, maximize the oxygen, because low levels, although they'll keep your koi alive, will suppress appetite. Next up is food. Vitally important that you use a good quality koi food. These only get Hikari wheat germ all year round. The better quality food you use, the better your fish will be, the health, the well-being. They need to have a balanced nutrient profile. They need all the minerals that they get come from their food. Again, just health and well-being. The better the quality food you can use, the better they will be. What doesn't get used, what isn't assimilated, ends up as pollution in your water. So a secondary effect is the water quality suffers, and again that impacts appetite in that way. So yeah, vitally important. A lot of people will use a high protein food. Not a lot of that protein is assimilated. As I say, I only use Hikari wheat germ, which is classed as low protein, but there's more than enough protein in Hikari wheat germ. There will still be excess protein from that food that ends up in my water, and you'll see discoloured water from it. So yeah, have a look at the food you use. If you can improve it, if you can go for a better quality food, your fish will thank you for that. I can feed these 15, 16 times a day, no problem at all with a Hikari wheat germ, and their appetite will still be strong, and they will assimilate more than enough protein from that. You're better to do that than to feed, say, 5, 6 feeds of a higher protein, which most of it ends up in your water. So have a look at the food. I do recommend Hikari wheat germ. It is a little bit more expensive. I do believe it's worth it though. Next up, consistency. So with such a small volume of water relative, it's vital that you're consistent in everything you do. We've got a very small man-made, man-managed ecosystem that any tiny change has a huge impact because of the small volumes, and they ultimately impact your koi's appetite. So absolute consistency in everything you do, from feeding the same food, feeding at the same times. If you clean your filters, clean them at the same time. Everything at all you do related to your pond, try to be consistent. As I say, it is vitally important with this kind of false ecosystem that we're trying to create. It really is on a knife edge. I just want to very quickly touch on temperature. Koi are cold-blooded, so everything they do, all their bodily functions, their activity is governed by temperature. But don't link temperature necessarily to appetite. If you imagine that's the range for appetite, low appetite, high appetite, you want to be at the top of the range. Temperature just dictates where that range is. So you've got cold temperatures, the range is down here. If you're at the top of the appetite band, you do everything right that I'm talking about today, you're at the top of that, your koi will still come to you when you approach the pond. So yes, temperature does dictate how much they'll eat, but that's because they need more to function at the same level when the water is warmer. But consider the kind of appetite range, although it is the position of that range is impacted by temperature, you still want to focus on that range and being at the top of that range. So temperature isn't necessarily important to your koi coming up to the top when you approach the pond. Another common cause of appetite suppression is salt. So salt is alien to freshwater fish. So as a chemical, any chemical that's alien to their natural environment will suppress appetite. Salt is useful as a treatment at very high concentrations for short periods of time. It can kill some parasites. It is scientifically proven to give no positive benefit whatsoever to a freshwater koi that is healthy. So a healthy koi, no benefit whatsoever from salt. And basically, a lot of people will have a very small level of salt in the pond, thinking it'll somehow kill parasites or give some benefit. It really doesn't. The levels that you'd need, the concentrations of salt you'd need to kill parasites would also kill koi within 30-40 minutes. So it is a short-term treatment. Having a low level of salt in your pond acts effectively like giving the parasites a vaccine. So you're exposing them to a low level of a chemical that would kill them at high levels. You're giving them a low level which does nothing other than gives them the opportunity to build up immunity to it. So if you have salt in there, for the sake of your koi's appetite, get it out of there and you will see an improvement. You know, they will see their health and well-being will improve, their appetite will increase. And lastly, get yourself a chag. Life and soul of the party. The effect that it will have introducing a chag to your pond if you don't have one is huge. They're proper characters. They do have a calming effect on the rest of the fish. Yeah, get yourself a chag.